This is video 10 of the CUTP Template instructional series. In this video, we will be demonstrating the process for verifying your training plan, error correction, and then finally submission of your CUTP template file. One of the first things that you want to take a look at from your main menu screen is the status messages, and ideally you want to see that no status messages apply. If there were status messages, it would indicate what the issue is, and you would go and make any necessary corrections in order to clear the status message. Once you achieve this statement where it says no status messages apply, you should be ready to run your verification report, which you will find in the Reports and Calendars menu item, clicking that button to open up the Reports menu. And here's the training verification report that you want to run at this time. Click on the button, get a little message indicating it may take a moment to produce a report. Click OK. The first time that you produce this report, it may not open on the screen. You simply look at the bottom of your screen for the Excel icon, click on it, and the report will open and display properly. Looking at the bottom of the report, you see there are actually 3 tabs to the report. The default tab is the UTP Corrections Required tab. There's 2 remaining summary tabs, the first being Training Details and the second being Unit Details. Going over the UTP Corrections Required tab, which is a very key important one in the verification process. We're going to start at the top, Status Messages. We don't have any status messages. We knew that coming into the report. The training plan corrections, going here on down, it's going to indicate to you a particular rule, and then it's going to provide you with the details of how the rule was broken and what correction is required. So for these POs, what it's telling us, the rule is for particular EOs, as indicated, that these EOs must be scheduled prior to the 30th of November. And then it provides the details of, for these EOs, when they were scheduled, and we can easily go into the scheduler, find those EOs, and bring them into compliance with the rule. And it will then just take you on down through any other issues. We have a similar issue with 230.02. Says that it needs to be scheduled prior to Remembrance Day. Here's when it is scheduled now. We can easily go in and make that correction. The verification process does a number of basic checks, including for mandatory PO and EOs if they are scheduled out of sequence. And as you can see here, for the purpose of the demonstration, I have made sure that that did happen, so you can see what it looks like. And it provides you with the specific details of what is scheduled when, so you can go back to the scheduler and move those mandatory EOs into the proper sequence. If we had any supported training days and weekends not scheduled, they would be listed here. If there was any errors in the scheduling of the PSRY, that would be listed here. And of course, we haven't done anything with instructor and locations yet. That will come after the training plan is approved. There is some error checking with regard to those assignments. Taking a look at the next 2 summary tabs, Training Details, will provide you with a summary of all of the training selections and activities that you have set up. So everything is there for each level as a summarized list. Indicates when your ACR is scheduled. For mandatory PO and EOs, if there are any that have been parked in the exceptions, as we said, they would be reported here in the verification report, as well as any EOs that have been attached to activities are also listed. This tab finishes up with some scheduling reminders for your elemental program, and it's helpful to take the time to read through that list and note anything that may apply to you. Finally, on the Unit Details tab, gives you a summary of your commanding officer's intent, which is an optional screen that you may have taken the time to enter. And following that is the paid establishment days check, which just provides a quick calculation for the number of paid staff that you have and the paid days that they have available, and the programming that you have entered for a number of activities and so on, and it shows you if you are within that pay structure. At this time, I'm going to close the verification report. What you would need to do is go in and make any training corrections required. Check again that the status messages remain clear. Even though you've made changes, that may trigger another status message. If the status messages remain clear as they are here, rerun that verification report. But before you rerun that verification report, you should actually close out of your template, as I'm doing here. Completely close out of it, and you can see in the folder or in the location where your CUTP template file is also where it will put the reports. And one thing that you should do to ensure that all the changes take effect is close out of your template and also click on that verification report and delete it, so that we can make sure that when we rerun the report, it updates correctly. Reopen your template, going through the same messages as we've already shown you. Back into your reports and calendars, run that verification report, and make sure that it indicates that no UTP corrections are required. So the end goal is no UTP corrections required on the training verification report and no status messages. When you've achieved that, you are ready to submit your file. You will need to check with your ACO for how to submit your file. The file must be zipped to submit, and the easy way to do that, you simply close out of the template, go to where your CUTP template file is, put the cursor over the file, right click, go down the choices to send to, and choose compressed folder. And the compressed folder with your file is placed in the same location as where your file was. And you're ready to submit. In our next video, we will begin demonstration of the features and screens accessible once your training plan has been approved.